All right, here we go. Well, welcome to another episode of Rimshots with Sean, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk. And I've made a friend from the good old city of Los Angeles. And when I say Los Angeles, he's right in Los Angeles. He's doing a podcast that is different than I'm doing, but he's involving some of the same people. I've got Mr. Brett Hoag, and we're going to talk about his podcast, Metal Mastication. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I am great, man. Thank you so much for having me on, Sean.
Well, I appreciate you having it. You know, it's always it's like I was telling you in the intro. It's neat to meet people who are doing similar things. I mean, what caught my eye with you was you were like, come on, subscribe. You know, you're trying to build that subscriber base, and it's tough. Like
It is, man.
YouTube is a hard thing, right? So tell us about the podcast first.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, I got to start with the concept, really.
Yeah.
All right. Because I owe it all to Billy Sheehan. Everyone knows who this guy is. He's the world's greatest living bass player. And when he's home, he posts on Facebook all the time, and he's an amateur chef. He cooks these fantastic meals at home, and he's always showing the video of them. And I know how to cook. My dad was a gourmet cook. And so I started talking to him about the cooking process, and he started talking to me back. And I was like, holy shit, Billy Sheehan's talking to me, right? It's so cool. And then I got the idea, God, wouldn't it be awesome just to hang out with Billy in the kitchen and cook a meal with him? And I also write for a magazine here in Los Angeles called Heart of Hollywood Magazine. And a good friend of mine through Facebook and the Metal Voice, Giles Lavery, was coming into LA and wanted to know if I wanted to interview Chris Impellitteri and James Pulley of Impellitteri and Mark Zonder and Giles for Warlord for the magazine.
Sorry, man, I'm busy. I can't.
Yeah, I said, let me check my schedule, Giles. I'll get right back to you.
Yeah.
And the interview for Impellitteri was at James Pulley's house. And I walk in the front door, and his wife is cooking Giles some eggs. And the stove is on a center island, and it's right there in front with this light and this fan above it. And I walked by, and I just muttered under my breath, God, that would be perfect. And James was standing around the corner, and he pops his head around. He's like, perfect for what? And I'm like, holy shit, he heard me. And so I explained the concept, perfect to shoot this podcast, have in mind Metal Mastication. And he loved the name right away because it is cool. And I explained what it was. And he's like, I'm in, let's do it. And I was like, holy shit, it's happening. So we shot our first episode in his kitchen, and he's on board as our associate producer. And we've gone from there. We've shot 6 episodes so far. And 2 of them are up. One of them, the other ones are still being edited.
So you will, pardon me, and I'd like you to kind of, so with my podcast, I have a gentleman that helps me. You know, I do this and he takes care of the real work. I've got a moderator, 2 moderators on my Facebook page, and my socials. How many people do you have helping you out and doing the thing for you?
My wife.
God love her. And she brought you a cook before we went on, right?
Did. So. Yeah, and she has a day job too. She's actually a computer programmer, and so she works from home since the pandemic, and so that's what she's doing right now.
Nice.
Yeah, she's working on her computer programming job. So it's my wife.
We'll call her your Swiss Army knife then.
She is, man. She's the director. She's one of the producers. She's the editor. She does the lights, the sound, the makeup. Everything.
Yep.
The only thing I do really is the booking, trying to get a hold of the musicians and then getting a date down, and locking it in.
Yep.
And then I'm the host, like you said, and I do the social media as well.
So one of the things I'd like you to I guess say, because oftentimes when I talk to people, that don't do much, I'm doing the podcast and I'm like, oh, it must be very difficult to get a hold of these people. But I always say 2 things, and hopefully you'll back me up here. And if you don't, we'll see where it goes. But one, a lot of these people they're easy to get a hold of. They're accessible and they're very gracious. But 2, you have to be respectful of their time, and you also have to not ask stupid questions that's going to give them a reason to never come back if you want to have them on again. Am I off the mark there?
No, you are 100% correct. And I mean this. Okay, every single artist that I've approached about being on our podcast has been, first of all, thrilled with the idea, and very gracious to me. I've had a couple decline,
Yep.
of course, yeah, but they were very gracious about it. The funniest response I got was at the Metal Hall of Fame gala in January by Joel Hoekstra.
Oh yes.
And if you guys don't know this, man, okay, so I'm like 6'2", and he's got to be like 6'4", 6'5". I don't know, man, but he was like towering over me, right? The
Yeah.
dude is huge. And I explained the concept. I do, it's me and musicians in the kitchen cooking, talking about whatever, cooking whatever. It's not a cooking show. It's just an interview show. It takes place in the kitchen. And Joel looked at me and he goes, "Cooking?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, it's not a cooking. It's blah blah blah." And then he was into it, but he lives in New York.
Right.
And that's how we ended the conversation. He's like, "Well, I live in New York," and I'm like, "Dude, if you're in LA and you got an extra 2 hours, let me know."
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, like, I think the concept's great. I mean, you've had Sean McNabb on there, who's I've got to know Sean Duncan, who's a buddy of mine, who drummer in LA Gun. Sean McNabb, uh, actor, activist, fundraiser, bass player, uh, all around great fella. So I guess when you get turned down, I mean, like, it's funny because the hardest time that I have is actually getting people kind of in my, I can get anybody from Los Angeles, but I ask somebody in my own city and they're like, I know you. I'm not, it's a real weird thing. But you're in Los Angeles where, the all the buzz is. So, I'm going to guess that you've had more success than not, but, do you anticipate maybe getting to that tipping point where it gets a little more difficult to have people on?
No, actually, I
No?
expect it to get easier.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, this is generating a lot of buzz with the musicians themselves.
Yeah.
I've been contacted just out of the blue. Hey, I'd love to be on your show. I'm like, holy crap, thank you. So it, I've gotten some very generous musicians, some very big names, but still under the radar names.
Yeah.
Okay, like James Pulley, our first guest and associate producer, the bassist of Impellitteri. How many people know the band Impellitteri?
I,
Sadly,
I do.
right? I understand we do.
Right.
Okay, but it's a very small niche. Okay, L.A. Guns, small niche.
Yeah, yeah.
Metal Church, bigger but still small.
So
Uh,
here's what you need to understand. So where I live, I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So if
right?
you,
Yeah, yeah,
we can't be further apart in terms of
yeah,
geography.
yeah. I know exactly where you are. Yeah, yeah.
When I was growing up, the only acts, and it's funny because I tell people this all the time. All these kids that you see that are 4 years old playing, excelling on, they should because they have so much information. We would get our album that we'd be lucky enough to go to the record store. Like we had no concerts out here. The first concert of any significance for me that happened was Iron Maiden and Twisted Sister in like 1984, and that was
Oh,
a big.
yeah,
They started
yeah,
the Power Slave tour here,
yeah.
so
I saw that tour.
we got to know all these musicians that you're talking about because we just had to study them because we could never get around them. What I like that you're doing though is your demeanor. You're not coming across as a fan, and I think that's a very important thing when you do this stuff.
It's really hard for me though, because I am first and foremost a fan,
Yeah,
right? Like for example, if we ever get like Bruce Dickinson,
yeah,
right, or Ozzy, okay, I picture myself just standing there going, "It's Ozzy, it's Ozzy, it's Ozzy. Look, it's Ozzy." I don't know if I don't know what the hell would happen, man.
I
That
don't
is
think you would. I don't think you would. And I'll tell you
wow,
why.
that's such a big thing though, dude.
It is, but so I don't know if you know who Rick Emmett is, but Rick Emmett was
Yeah, I
the
know.
lead. Okay,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so Rick was a hero of mine growing up. I had the opportunity to open for Rick when my band opened for him back in the 90s. He's been on my show twice, and he's been on another show that I do twice. Both times when I met him, I was just like, what am I going to do? It's Rick Emmett. And he was such a
Yeah,
nice, gracious guy
yeah, yeah.
that I didn't have that feeling. I've interviewed people where it's just like, I can't believe this is a guy that, that I've grown up listening.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Mick Brown. I did an interview with Mick Brown. I've got to know Mick on a personal level. He's one of my drumming heroes, and he couldn't have been a nicer dude. Like it was just like, thank God my heroes aren't assholes. You know what I
right.
mean?
Well, see, I think the deal is though they know that we feel that way,
Yeah,
and so they go out of their way to make us feel at ease.
It's a great point.
You
They feel
know,
the respect. They feel the respect.
absolutely. I agree. And like you said, back to your point, don't ask them stupid questions and respect their time. That's the big one, dude. These, as you know, as Billy Sheehan refers to himself as a paid musician, not a rock star.
Yeah.
Um, these dudes are so freaking busy. I mean, it's unreal. Now that I know, looking back at all the stories and the books that I've read about life on the road and shit, you can see how so many marriages have broken down.
No question.
Um, because these poor guys are never home.
No question. And
Uh,
another thing too, and that's a good point. And a realization, I mean, I forgot. I used to be on the road, like I go away for 3 months and come back, but
yeah,
I hadn't been for a while. And last summer I had the opportunity to go to Dublin to play in a wedding. And once we were there, it was amazing. The getting there sucked. We got missed a flight. We were stuck in an airport with thousands. It sucked. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember saying to one of my bandmates, like, if anybody thinks this is glamorous, they're out of their minds,
Right,
right? You get there, it's
right,
great. You get there,
yeah,
it's great. So just imagine doing that every second of it. You're on a bus, you're in an
right,
airport, right? I
right.
get what you're saying.
Unless you're Maiden and you got your own 747 with Bruce flying, it's gonna suck.
Well, now that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, yeah. And I get and I've watched your episodes and like again, I'm getting respect, but I'm not getting glee. You're handling yourself very well. I mean, I always used to joke around when I started this. I never wanted to be Chris Farley to skip when he was interviewing Paul McCartney.
Right? Oh yeah, yeah. But that's so funny.
It
I'm
is
gonna have,
funny.
Dude. I'm gonna have to work that in now. Thank you. I'm gonna have to
Well,
work that in.
I used to say that a lot when I first, and you know what? To date, I've interviewed Billy Sheehan. He was amazing. I just
Yeah.
interviewed Greg Bonnet there on
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thursday or Friday. I've interviewed Liberty DeVito, Todd Zuckerman, Jeff Pilson, Mick Brown, Matt Starr. I mean, and I've never gotten to the point where I was just like, you know what I mean? Because here's the thing: as a musician, always want to be in the circle that they were in. Therefore, I didn't
Mhm.
want to act like the cheerleader with
Right.
the pom poms, right?
Right. Right. I hear you.
You're in that circle now, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I don't
You
know about
you
that.
are. No, you are. I
Um,
mean, think about it for a second.
I don't know. I think my contact list is pretty fucking cool on my phone, and I think 20-year-old me is shitting bricks every time I look at it. But I'm trying to take it. It's just one day at a time, dude. And if it happens, it happens. You like have a sponsor, Barstools and whatever that was there. I would love a fucking sponsor.
You know how you get a sponsor?
Yeah.
Here's how you get a sponsor. It's really simple. You basically go to. I have one. They're a used record store. They sell everything. I know the guy. I grew up with him, but I said, Tom, here's the thing. I can guarantee you X amount of views every time I do a podcast if I put your logo on it. No problem. In exchange for that, Tom didn't have a lot of money, so he gives me things like gift certificates and stuff that I can use for draws, and it's a symbiotic relationship. Stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. I don't see. I gotta generate the followers first,
Well, but
and
here's the other thing
we're
too.
getting there. We're getting there.
I'm gonna give you a little lesson because I used to teach sales courses on this. Everybody's got a doctor, a lawyer, whatever. If you're giving somebody money, you should never have a problem going and ask them for the favor because your confidence in them is your dollars. They should feel the same way about you, and it's not a shakedown. It's just a
Right,
symbiotic, friendly deal.
right. Yeah. The only one I've approached was the DAD program, Drummers and Disabilities.
Okay.
They're the charity that's behind the Metal Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And if you look at my jacket here, my chef's coat that I wear, you
Yeah.
can see the autographs on it. And I have all of my guests sign it.
Nice.
And then when it's full, we're gonna auction this off at the Metal Hall of Fame gala event in Anaheim, and all the proceeds will be donated to the charity.
That's a
Um,
what a wow, what an idea. And you
but
keep me up to date on that because I'll push that, man.
Yeah, I will. But the CEO, Pat Gesualdo, who's a very good friend of mine, has become a very good friend over the years, said, unfortunately, they're still very small, and so he's not in a position to sponsor me. And I'm like, that's cool. We're still doing it anyway. So maybe we've reached out to some people. We're still waiting to hear. Right now, like I said, it's just my wife and I, and
Yep.
and we're renting studio space in LA to shoot, which is kind of expensive. But we're gonna make it. So
Well, you know what? You and I should have an offline conversation, and I'll tell you why. And this isn't me being so great, but this is me through 4 years of meeting people and doing things ass ugly wrong. I've learned a thing or two. For example, I don't know if you're familiar with the name Michael Brandvold.
yeah, yeah, I know him.
Michael's a friend of mine. He's the guy that talked me off the ledge when I did something and only got 1,000 views, and I thought it should get more. And Michael, no, it's about engagement. He's taught me a thing or two about how you build some of this stuff. So you and I should have an offline conversation.
Yeah, I'd
We're
love
not, we're
it,
not going to
man.
give it all away here for free, right?
Right, thank you. Yeah, I would love all the help I can get, man. We have no idea what we're doing.
Well, but that's the best.
Um,
It's the most fun because I've got to a point, and don't get to this point where you get frustrated because it's not happening at a pace that you want it to. I remember when I was first doing it, and everything was exciting. It was like everything was clicking, and then you get to the point where you see yourself a little bigger, and
yeah,
it's like it's not going in. Anyway, don't get to that point. So I'm
yeah,
glad I met
no,
you because you and I can have
yeah,
some similar conversations about this stuff.
yeah, I'd love to. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, social
Um,
media is awesome, dude. I've met some just wonderful people.
it is right, and if used for good as opposed to evil, it's fantastic, right?
Yep.
So you're relatively new into this. I had the opportunity last year to meet a gentleman who has been doing podcasting for years. He holds a podcast expo in Nashville every year, and he started out doing gaming podcasts. He moved to music. And the piece of advice he gave to me was is if you don't worry about making money, you eventually will.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah, I agree. Then that's the approach we're taking. We're just doing as many as we can, uh, because it's really fun, dude. Look at my teasers on our YouTube channel, if nothing else, right? Especially the newest one up there with Steve Unger of Metal Church. The episode's Breaths of Fire. And that dude's a riot, man. We had so much fun. It's just we're having a blast.
Yeah.
And so are my guests. So we're gonna keep it going as long as everyone's having fun.
Well, I got another thing I can extend to you, and obviously you and I know each other now. We'll stay in contact and we'll share some ideas. But on Wednesday nights, I actually co-host I think 3 weeks of the month. I co-host another show with a gentleman by the name of Ken Bow that has a record company called Mini Tunes Records, which I'm a part of. And we're always looking for content. And
Mm.
you and I with Ken would be really good because you're plugging along, you're having success getting people, and there's a lot of people that we deal with that are in bands who get frustrated and they want to hear other people's success stories. So having you in there might be good. So I'll gear that up too.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to. The more exposure, the better.
Yeah. So episode number 6. So do you have a goal for this year? How many you want to do?
Um, one a month. If we can end up with 12, that would be good. Especially, it's going to get hard here, as you know. Touring season
Right.
is about to be upon us. So I have a feeling, unless I'm catching someone who's not touring at the moment or has an extra day or two in LA, my opportunity to book guests is going to dry up here pretty soon, for at least a couple months.
Well, you know what, and that again too. People. I know people. I've got a really good group of people in Phoenix, Arizona that go to LA to play quite a bit.
Yeah,
Uh,
now see, I so all right, so Ken Mary,
yeah,
drummer
awesome guy.
who's in Flotsam and Jetsam, was in Impellitteri for about 6 albums.
Yeah,
All right, so he knows James, my first guest, my associate producer, and then I went and saw Flots when they were here recently in LA, and so I actually talked to Ken before the show and told him, I said, "Hey man, I work with James Pulley." And he's like, "Oh, okay." Like, I got his attention, right?
yeah.
So we do this podcast. Here's what it is. If you want to call him and talk to him about it. And he goes, "I don't have his number." And I said, "I do. It's right here." And so I gave, and he's like, "Oh, okay, this guy's real." Right. So I gave him James's number. So I know he's talked to him about it. And Eric AK is responding to me on Facebook and said, I got a bunch of recipes. Let's do it. So I'm hoping I can
Yeah.
get at least those two, if not more members of that band, and we can do a road trip to Phoenix and shoot there.
I promise you, if you go to Phoenix, there's a couple people I can hook you up with.
So
There's a
yeah.
gentleman out there. His name is Bobby Sisk. Bobby is an amazing singer. His best friend is Wild Mick Brown. That
Hmm.
was my connection. And they hang out with Pete Lauren from Trickster and Mark Guscott from Trickster and lots of Jetson guys. And yeah, that'd be a very good connection. I
Yeah.
actually, well,
Alice lives there too, you know.
who?
Alice Cooper.
I know, absolutely.
And I got an in to Glenn Sobel, his drummer, because he's good
Yep.
friends with James Pulley too. And if I get Glenn on my show, that puts me in Alice Cooper's fucking circle, dude.
Well, that's
Right.
how it works.
And
That's
if
how
I'm
it
in
works.
Alice Cooper's circle, I'm in Johnny Depp's circle.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's the way it works. And I tell you the one thing, and this is just a me thing. Um, I've been on other people's podcasts. Like, do you know this person? Will you? And it's like I'll ask, but I'll never necessarily go to the guy and say, "Hey, that's great, but can I talk to your boss?" You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just because I had somebody that used to do a podcast with a couple of years ago who did that, and it just the feedback we got from the person's PR person was, "Oh, he felt like you were just having him on there to get to the next guy." And I was
Mm.
like, that wasn't it at all. And I didn't ask the question, but you know what? I'll take the bullet for that. And, so it's a funny thing, but I mean, I don't need to coach you. You know what's going on. I mean, you got some
Uh,
of the heavy hitters already, right?
I'm trying, man. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's all been pure luck, and none of it would be possible at all without Giles Lavery, James Pulley, Pat Gesualdo from the Metal Hall of Fame again. I've been going to the Metal Hall since 2018, and so Pat knows me from there, and so ever since that, like he just like hooks me up with VIP shit all the time for the Metal Hall. So that's how I get to talk to these guys.
Well, but you know what? So you got a sponsor and you don't even realize
Yeah,
it.
right. Well, yeah, I know that. Like I said, yeah, I'm incredibly grateful to Pat, and none of this would be happening without him for sure.
So
And
so
Giles,
get to know the word contra. Because
yeah.
contra, and I know in the states that can have different connotations, but I worked in the events world for years, and basically, if somebody can give you something that isn't cash but will remove a line item off your budget, it's just as good. And what he's doing for you is amazing because he's giving you the access to content,
Yeah,
right? Hey Pat, can I
yeah,
can I put my
yeah,
logo on your can I put my logo on my your
yeah,
podcast? And boom, man,
yeah.
business.
I would love to. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would love. I mentioned him. I mean, I hashtag Metal Hall of Fame on everything.
yeah.
Uh,
True story.
so,
There's a PR girl. I should actually connect you with her too. Raquel Flago. She did the last Hall of Fame
mm.
show. She's hooking me up with Pat eventually to do an interview. So that'll be very cool.
Yeah, I want to get Pat on the show for sure, of course. He just got a sponsorship from Rock Vodka. Uh,
Oh,
Check out the Metal Hall of Fame bus, dude. It is bitching.
very
So
cool.
he's on the East Coast there, so you have a better chance of seeing him than I do.
He's in New York or something, isn't
Yeah, yeah,
he? Yeah,
New York.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had uh, a PR company reach out to me yesterday about interviewing one of their artists, and I always ask what time zone are they because I do a lot of stuff on Zoom, right? Like sometimes I'll do stuff
Yeah.
in person, um, but the guy's in Eastern Europe and he's a New York guy, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. So you got to figure out the time zone and what have you. But a funny story, I Buck Cherry was playing here in town, and Francis, the drummer's a bud, and I've interviewed him, and he sends me a note. You coming to the show? And I'm like, I forgot to get tickets. I've been busy. He goes, you guys, VIP passes. So we went down to the show, and I didn't get to meet him because a fight broke out and they cleared everybody out of the
Oh,
club.
oh
But
no.
anyway, super cool guy, man, and
Yeah.
that's what you'll find with these folks, right? They're just super
Yeah,
gracious
they are.
people.
They are. I always offer all of our guests a couple things. First, that I'll wear any swag, right, for their band. They want me to
Yeah,
plug anything on it. And so I've worn, like when I did Sean Duncan, I had an LA Guns shirt underneath here, and I had this open. And then we just did Bjorn Englund, who's played with Malmsteen, Uli John Roth, and Tony McAlpine in the same fucking year.
yeah,
Too bad he
tough
doesn't know
gig.
any. Yeah, too bad he doesn't know any good guitars, right?
Yeah.
And so he's got his own band, Soul Sign, just releasing a new album, a new single coming out right now. And so he gave me a shirt to wear underneath this. And I forgot to open it up at the end when we were eating. And so I forgot until after he left that I had the shirt on. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. I got your shirt. Let me wash it. I'll get it back to you. And he said, no, just keep it. So I got my first official swag. So
There
yeah,
you go.
it was pretty cool.
You're
That
on
was
your way.
it's not my intent. Uh,
Well, hey, things happen
but
for reasons. You offered to give it back, so you appreciate that.
yeah.
And I
He's a
will tell you
great
something.
guy. Have you
I bet
talked?
she is.
You haven't interviewed Bjorn?
Not yet.
No. Oh, dude, he is awesome. He's so cool.
Nice. Well, and Sean Duncan. I mean, so he's a guy. I probably have text conversations with Sean once or twice a month, and he was on social media. He was going out with LA Guns. I sent a hey, congrats, and he thumbs up, and I messaged
Yeah,
him, and that's how
yeah.
it came out. And he's a nice. He and I
He
we'll talk about drums. We'll talk about drumsticks. We'll talk about his pool. You know,
Yeah, he's a great guy.
yeah,
We had a fabulous time. We were in his backyard barbecue pit at his pool there, shooting our episode with him. The guy, I'm not going to mention what he says in the episode. He's got skills.
oh yeah, he
Okay,
does.
he's got
You see him post stuff all the time.
professional skills. So you should really watch that episode. Plus, he tells some great stories about Sunset Strip in the '80s.
Well, so I'll tell you, I said Renegade Records, by the way. Jason will probably pop that up. And it's a record company here in my hometown that sponsors me. And I found a Decline of the Western
Oh,
Civilization Part 2 poster.
yes, yeah. I
So
saw
I
that.
grabbed
Yeah,
it and
yeah.
I took a picture and I said, Sean, do you have one of these? He goes, I don't. I said, give me your address, man, and I'll send it to you. So he
Oh, he's
apparently
gotta
put it
love
somewhere in the
that.
top. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
cool. Because I mean,
yeah,
Owen was a big feature in that movie, right?
yeah. No, I did not see that. We did not tour his house or his studio or anything. We were just in his backyard, barbecue pit. I did see his drum kit in his studio space, but we didn't go in there. We were going to at the end, and then we forgot. So, because
Stuff happened.
I do that a lot. I need a cue card person.
That'll
Because
be your wife too. Like she doesn't have enough
right,
jobs.
yeah, but she can't, right? Because she's on the camera. So,
Yeah.
and then we usually also have a sound person. If it's
Yep.
not James Pulley, does sound for us. But if he can't, we'll get someone from Heart of Hollywood magazine.
Nice.
Will come in and help us. My wife is also involved in Women in Media, which is a big group here in LA. So we can get some help from those people as well sometimes. So,
Outstanding.
so
I was just going to say last thing, and well, I'll mention. I hear the tax situation is very bad in California, so you're almost an honorary Canadian because not only do we work with the peso, I think the way it happens is you get your paycheck at the end of the week, and then the prime minister hands you what's left over. So,
yeah.
that being said, where do my folks find out about your show?
They can go to our YouTube channel. It's at metal_mastication. We also have Facebook page, Facebook /metalmastication.com. I'm on Instagram at metal_mastication. Twitter, I don't know what that is. Just look up metal mastication because I never use X or Twitter anyway.
Yeah,
But mainly our YouTube channel and the Facebook page.
yeah.
I post everything on Facebook. I'm posting there all day long. And then our YouTube page gets updated when my wife has a chance to do that.
There's only so many hours in her day, right? She's
Right. Oh man, dude, she's so busy. She's also a professional photographer here in Los Angeles. She has her own studio in Santa Monica, where she does personal branding and headshots.
fantastic.
So yes, she's really busy.
And wasn't Santa Monica the home of Jack's Bistro?
From Three's Company?
Yeah,
Yeah. They lived in
yeah.
Santa Monica. Yeah, they did.
Hey,
Yeah, I
you get a
know
little
that
bit more
board.
than you bargain. Yeah,
Dude, I know all those shots from that. I know all the that stuff is all here.
awesome, man. You know what? I got to get out there soon because it's like as a guy in Halifax growing up and always, I was there once. A friend of mine went to GIT and we went and
Oh,
visited him for 2 weeks, but that was like '88. and we stupidly didn't find or didn't look. I mean, it's not hard to find the Motley Crue house up from the whiskey.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know where everything is.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
when I come out, I will look you up.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get you on the podcast too, for sure.
Absolutely, Brett Hoag.
Thank you.
That's how we say it in Canada, Hoag.
Yeah, I got you.
For doing this, my friend, and we're gonna check in with you and see how things are going. We'll keep in touch.
Right on. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Peace.